Hello, welcome, my little goblin friends. Yes, we're doing another little video of putting things in protective contact paper. I might space these out. I don't know, because as it so happens, I am making them all on the same day because I've got everything set up to do the contact paper, right? But I might kind of space them out on the channel so that it's not like the same thing in a row for multiple videos. I don't know if that's preferable. As I have said multiple times, kind of trying to figure all this out because I'm having a great time and it's super fun, but I really don't know the preferred ways to do these things, and I'm just rolling with the whole, it's my channel. That means that the preferred way of doing things is the way I do them. Yeah! Take that, little brain bullies. So some of us live with bullies in our brain that are trauma responses, from living with overly critical people to dealing with, sad events, mental illness. And so something I have learned is about identifying the brain bullies, talking back to them, and shooing them away. So that's probably something that will come up. Look at these cute little baby matchboxes. I at one point got some little matches. And then, because I am a goblin, I kept the little boxes because they were cute. I want to do something with them. So they are literally just the perfect size for so many storage options. So these are rose petals. I'm probably going to have I don't know which way you're watching this, but anyway, this is rose petals, if that was hard to read. These are alstroemeria petals, which apparently I didn't write on there. Alstroemeria is kind of fun to spell. And then these are honeysuckle leaves. There's a lot. And so I wanted to get some of these, I guess I'll start with the honeysuckle ones, on contact paper. And as I said in a previous, I did want you there. As I said in a previous video, it's kind of fun doing these little channel videos of, putting my little pieces of nature into contact paper to be able to make jewelry out of them, because doing things is hard, and this way it is for me a form of body doubling, as I have said. So another thing you can do with this approach, okay, I've got okay, good. I wanted to know how many more I've got of contact paper left, because as you can see, I'm going to need to put some of that on my list if I want to do contact paper anytime particularly soon. So I tried this in last video. Things that are thicker do have a hard time sometimes with the contact paper, just because if you don't get a good seal around them, the little bubble that they live in will oh, that's my hair, lovely, sort of come apart. So another reason to make sure that there's a good amount of space in between what you're putting on the contact paper. Ooh, that one, ha 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 ha, smooth, pristine, lovely. So you can also, with these little artsy things, no, I'll need that here. I'm drinking here. Be kind to your mind. I don't know if you can read that. My husband was doing the grocery shopping like a couple months ago, I think. That's kind of short. Okay, so 3 and then 3 and then special. He was doing the grocery shopping and he was at the Wally Molly Walmart, and he saw that mug and was like, I'm getting this for the wifey. And he came home with it and was like, hey, hon, I got you a mug. And I was like, ah! I probably made that noise. I'd accept it was probably louder. Because I love mugs and I love drinking herbal tea. And it's just so touching when someone gets you something quite randomly. Because you're like, oh my gosh, you even think of me at random moments. So that was very sweet of him. And then, of course, the sentiment, it had a butterfly on it, it had flowers on it, and it had a sentiment about being kind to yourself. And he was like, this is now the wifey's. There's no way this isn't coming home to her. And it was so sweet and very pertinent, and legitimately helps me remember the whole, be kind to your mind dialogue. Being kind to yourself is an excellent thing to do. It is actually rather vital, one could say. I don't think I'm going to do any more alstroemeria because I have maybe one more alstroemeria and the rest of these. I want to do some rose leaves. I might do one more for honeysuckle. We shall see. Being kind to yourself is vital. Why do I say this? Because I have lived for many decades of my life not being kind to myself, and let me tell you, friends, I would not recommend it. Yeah, that it's not great, folks. It's not great. So I had to slow, if it was one of those, if I always do what I've always done, I'll always get what I've always got situations. And people kept, talking to me about, oh, you can be a little, oh no, you know what? That's okay. Normally we don't peel off the contact paper yet, but that's all right. That is all right. See, I'm being kind to myself. I'm giving myself grace to have made an unpreferable decision as I'm working through these little projects. Get that off. Yeah, no, just as I started being, okay, you go there now. As I started being around, my husband and I started dating, and I started being around other people that were also very positive influences in my life, I started realizing more and more what they meant when they talked about the negative things I said about myself. I started realizing, oh no, this is an incredibly pervasive part of my self-dialogues, of my mental dialogues. Like, I started realizing, oh, no, that is, the whole, would you say that to a friend? Would you say what you just said to or about yourself to yourself as a child? And it's like, no, I wouldn't say that to anybody. That'd be a terrible thing to say to a human being. Okay, I'm gonna go now. Like, it takes a bit of introspection to start realizing that, oh no, it literally, not being negative to yourself is literally just working on not saying things to yourself that you would not say to another human being. And talking back to the thoughts in your head that are, coming up with all this nonsense. Often they are intrusive thoughts. Often they are trauma responses. When like a year and a half ago, I'm doing ones that where the color's like really vibrant, because this is partially an experiment. One of the times I did other rose petals, I do not remember at this point now if that was the color of the rose petals when I put them in the contact paper. So I don't know if that adhesive has turned the roses this color, or if they were like kind of muted yellow roses. So I'm trying to pick ones that are fairly vibrant here as I make this whole little contact paper. It's almost a collage. Well, I think it would have to be, they all be touching for it to be a collage. But anyway, to see if the adhesive does leach the color from the rose petals. It doesn't from the butterfly wings and from like sunflowers and the alstroemeria, but maybe it does to the rose petals. I do not know. So we're figuring it out as we go. Meanwhile, about a year and a half ago, I found out that panic attacks are a spectrum, guys. It's amazing. I didn't know that. I thought that panic attacks were, I can't breathe, I'm going to the ER. I didn't know that they're also, I feel like I'm going to lose control. My thoughts are flooding my head and racing and spiraling, downward spiraling. I'm having trouble breathing. My stomach hurts from how anxious I am. I'm shaking. My body feels heavy, like I can't move. Like there's so many more. These are all some of the physical symptoms that indicate the panic that is in your brain right now is so bad, so vivid, that it is affecting your body in these very noticeable ways. I just always thought, like, when that happened, oh, I'm just having a bad time. And it's like, no, love, that's, no. No. So I found that out, and it was great, and I got diagnosed with panic disorder. And the therapist I was seeing I did this differently than I actually wanted to happen. Yep, that's fine. A therapist I was seeing at the time who diagnosed me with panic disorder. I'd been diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder at that point for like 4 years. Now it's been like 5.5. And she was like, yeah, this is more than generalized anxiety disorder, because I will have panic attacks even when objectively there is nothing to be anxious or panicking about. Because again, generalized anxiety disorder, I'm just generally anxious. And panic disorder, sometimes my brain just goes, panic! And then we panic, because of course, why wouldn't we? I'm going to do some more of the alstroemeria petals, because some of the ones I have are the very skinny parts of the alstroemeria flower, which are beautiful and I love, but they can be a little difficult to find jewelry pieces to create. If I'm going to create a couple more of the chunkier ones here, and again, I'm not using that one because it's one of the chunkier ones, but it's gotten a little tattered, and that means it's not as big. Ta-da! I found one. And so I found out that I was having panic attacks multiple times a day, in fact, and had been for a long time, and that I've been having panic attacks since I was in my teens. That was fun to find out. I'm like in my early 30s, by the way, if that's helpful context. So, no, help, please. I can do this. Okay, beautiful. The therapist told me that panic attacks generally last approximately, so panic attacks can take however long, right? But generally speaking, they will fall into a time frame window of 5 to 20 minutes. They could take less than 5, they could take more than 20. But generally speaking, that is how short a panic attack might last and how long a panic attack might last, just generally speaking. And so she was like, okay, when you're having a panic attack, set the timer for 20 minutes. And during that time, all the negative thoughts in your head, the what I had at that point already started calling, the bully voice, those bullying thoughts in your head that are saying, oh, you're awful for this attack having, you're awful for feeling this way, you're wasting time, get back and go to work, do things, all the stuff. She's like, set the timer for 20 minutes, and for that 20 minutes, the bully voice goes in the corner. Just anytime that a thought like that comes into your head, nope, you're in the corner for the next 20 minutes. Don't worry, you can come out once the timer goes off. So, you'll be able to come out. Don't you worry. But for right now, you're going in the corner. And I was like, okay. So I started doing that, and it was really amazing because you know what? I found out 20 minutes at a time what life felt like without the bully voice. What panic attacks felt like when I wasn't not only dealing with a panic attack, which is kind of awful to deal with, or I have found this out because things get normalized for you when they're just part of your everyday life. And so it is good to not become desensitized to our own pain and suffering. My husband said that actually yesterday because we were talking about this. Probably why some of it's on my mind. Oh my goodness. No. Ha. So I started finding out 20 minutes at a time what it was like to live with the bully voice being in a corner. And guys, it was very, very weird. I'd still have I'd still have, the anxiety going on. There'd be negativity going on, all the things, but like not blaming myself as much, for all of it was a very, very weird and freeing feeling. So it's been a long, long journey over the last year and a half. Well, it's been like over 11 years since I started working on figuring out, this isn't going to cover. Oh, it barely did. Oh, I don't know. It's been about a little over 11 years since I started figuring out how my brain worked and how to live within this world with how my brain worked. And so it's been a long, long journey. Like I say, I'm in my early 30s. I've been dealing with this stuff since I was in, middle school. So that's fun. I didn't know it. But very important. I've slowly found out that I liked better living in a brain space where, despite all the fears, despite all the thoughts of depression, the struggles, everything that was hard, I didn't direct all that negativity at myself. And it is still something, definitely, like, it has taken me a year and a half to like be able to verbalize that. This is something that I work with on a daily basis, not to recognize when the struggle, the negativity of the struggle in my head is being directed at myself and causing hurt and pain for myself. And so the goal is to recognize that first, and then slowly that helps you learn to not let it happen, kind of thing. But yeah, when you're able to put the bully voice in the corner and start recognizing how you feel when the bully voice is just part of the inner dialogues in your head, and how you feel when the bully voice has been put in the corner and just that mental dialogue is not going on in your head. Try setting a timer for 5 minutes, and in that 5 minutes, the rule is that you don't say anything negative about yourself or think anything negative about yourself, okay? Start with 20 minutes like I did, or, increase the time, however. Try it, my friends. It is a very helpful exercise in the journey of trying to recognize what it feels like when you are talking negative to yourself versus what it feels like when you're not allowing that to happen inside your brain. Because when we've lived with a negative self-dialogue for so long, it becomes difficult to know that that's happening because it's such a part of your daily mindscape. So yes, have a great one. Goodbye, my little goblin friends.